Hello friends, I'm Rosa, welcome to the channel. So, today we are recording another one of these tags. I have literally just done the first one of the tags, and I thought it was so fun, so I decided that I wanted to do the other one, which is called, so the last time we did Do I Have That Book Challenge. Today we're gonna do I Have That Other Book Challenge. I know, see what they did there? Okay. So we have like, how many questions is it? 20 questions. I'm gonna ask myself the questions and see if I got books that fit with the questions behind me. If I don't, that sucks. The last time I missed the poetry collection, didn't have one of those. Hopefully today I'll do a little bit better than that, although I would say 19 out of 20 is pretty good. But that's what it's about. And also all of the books I will make sure to link in the description box if you want to check them out, because I know that I'll probably hurry through it a little bit to avoid this video being like an hour and 20 minutes long. So if you want to know the synopsis a little bit better than I explain them, you can find links in the description box. Anyway, enough talk, let's get to it. So, question number 1 is, do you have a book with a fox on the cover or part of the plot? I'm gonna be real, I probably don't, but I'm gonna try to see if I do. Otherwise, we're gonna have to cheese it a little bit. So, let's give it a shot. Oh! I felt like I could remember there was a fox on this, right? This is a fox, right? It looks like a fox. I'm gonna say it's a fox. Yes. So this is The Poison Season by Mara Rutherford. It's pure luck that there's a fox on it because it's the Owl Crate edition, which means that it has a redesigned cover. The original does not have a fox on it. It only has a girl on it, so... But this is young adult fantasy with romance in it. I can't fully remember what it's about other than we follow a girl who lives in a small town, which is like at a river that is poisonous and also at a forest or near a forest that is very dangerous to enter. And then outsiders are not welcome there at all, by the way. And then one day while she's doing some stuff, a guy appears, he's drowning in the water, and she's supposed to just let him float away, you know, just ignore, turn the other cheek. But she can't seem to bring herself to do that, so she decides to save him. And yes, The Poison Season. Question number 2 is, do you have a book that was published the year you were born or within a 3-year radius? Ooh, that is a good question. Perhaps? I'm gonna go with, which one is this? I don't know which one it is in the series, but I just picked one because I knew they were written in the 90s. This is from 95, so that's close enough. It's the second book in the Witcher saga. So the first one being Blood of Elves, and then we have The Last Wish and also Sword of Destiny before that. But I don't really know what the series itself is about other than it has something to do with elves, and also we follow Geralt of Rivia, the White Wolf, I think his nickname is, and he's a witcher, which means that he's gone through a lot of experiments that turned him into like a hunter of supernatural things. So that's what he does. He goes around the country that he lives in, the world, this world, and helps people that are dealing with supernatural creatures and need them like getting rid of, if you know what I mean. So anyway, but that's what I know. I don't really know what the actual saga is about, only the short stories. So I was about to go and pick up it, and then and I remember that's too old. It's just like, isn't that from the 80s or something? Anyway, so I was like, wait a minute. Okay, do you have a book with music as the weapon or magic? I could go with The Savage or The Savage Song. However, I'm gonna go with another one. Because this is A River Enchanted by Rebecca Ross, which is an adult fantasy, and we follow Jack, he's from an island that is split up into two. We have the East and the West. We have different clans on these two halves. He left the island to go study music at the mainland, but then he was called back because it turns out that the island needs his help. They need him to come back and play music for the spirits because a lot of girls are going missing on this island and they need help from the spirits to find them. So when he plays music, it's magical because he can talk to the spirits, or it summons the spirits. It's magical. I don't know how to explain it anyway. Magical music, yes. Okay, oh gosh, I got a lot of those. Question number 4 is, do you have a series with mismatched covers? I'm gonna find you the worst one, or am I? Because I only got 2 out of 4 in that one. I'm gonna find one. So I used to have Echo Tar in 3 different versions, but I've actually gotten the hardback set which I just remembered looking at the shelf. But I have 2 out of the 4 Ember in the Ashes books. I have the 2 other ones on Kindle, and if I continue buying them, I'm probably going to end up with a 3rd version, which is the white covers with the people on them. But I have the 4th one as the UK paperback, and then I have the original cover of the 2nd book. These are young adult fantasy, and they are by Sabaa Tahir. Can't actually remember what they're about at all, other than the 1st and the 2nd book were so good. So that's all I remember. But something about a slave and a slave keeper, or maybe he's not a keeper, maybe a guard, a lot of sand, there's a festival at some point, ugh, cuteness. Okay, anyway, but I'm very curious to read these again at some point because I remember the 1st and the sequel being so good. So I hate this cover though, hate it with my whole heart. Question number 5, do you have a book with a shapeshifter? They chose New Moon. I don't even have that one. I do have shapeshifters though, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, wait, I can't pick that one because it's a spoiler. Oh no, I gotta figure out another one. Okay. I have been debating for the longest time, just sat on the floor, debating whether or not I could pick different books because a lot of them I feel like are kind of spoilery. Technically fae, but can also shapeshift. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna say anything about the story, but there are fae in this that can turn into animals. So this was more difficult than I thought it would. Because like, is a werewolf a shapeshifter technically? These are fae that can shapeshift, but like, they're still fae, not shapeshifters, you know? I don't know, I'm gonna pick this one. So, oh, that was Kingdom of Ash by Sarah J Maas, by the way. Question number 6, do you have a book signed by the author? Oh, I got many, and I'm very excited about it. I got many. I chose this one because it's probably the prettiest book that I own. It's Daughter of the Moon Goddess by Su Lin Tan. It's an adult fantasy inspired by Chinese mythology, and she is signed by Miss Su Lin Tan. And I love this book. The content and the look, I love it so much. This is about Xingyin, who is the daughter of the moon goddess, and she is stuck on the moon with her mom, and she's never met other people other than her mom and also a helper that they have. But she has been suppressing her magic because she's been told to, until one day she just can't suppress it anymore and it flares up, and this causes the people who actually exiled her mom when she was pregnant to the moon. So they don't know that Xingyin exists. She's not supposed to be there. And so it attracts their attention. They come to the moon and she has to run away. She happens to end up in the Celestial Kingdom when she runs away by accident. And when she's there, she starts to study with the Crown Prince, I think he's called. And later also becomes like she starts to train archery and stuff. And there's a lot of stuff going on in this one. Like the synopsis is very, very long and there's a lot in it. Lovely book. Just such a, I feel like the world, I could talk about this book forever, so I'm gonna put it away. Really good book though. Very lovely. Question number 7 is, do you have a book with a mostly red cover? They chose Vicious, which I just noticed, and now I can't choose it because that would be cheating. So I'm gonna do my best to find another very, very red book in my collection. Yeah. I could have chosen Blood and Honey by Shelby McEwen, but I didn't want to, so I went with A Vow So Bold and Deadly by Bridget Kimmerer instead, which is the 3rd book in the Curse So Dark and Lonely. I only know that this is YA fantasy and it's a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I believe that there's cerebral palsy representation as well. Our lead girl has cerebral palsy. I hope I'm saying that right. English medical terms sometimes can't fully remember them, but other than that I can't tell you much. But it's a very red cover, right? I feel like it is. Oh no, not one of these again. Question number 8 is, do you have a book between 287 and 306 pages? I probably do, but oh gosh. Okay, I'm gonna go hunting. See you in a bit. Okay, so that took a little while. This is If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy, which is an adult rom-com, a contemporary romance. I think this is a Cinderella retelling. I heard that it's lovely. Other than that, I don't really know what it's about, to be honest. It's about a girl who loves shoes because she's plus size and she's having a hard time finding clothes that are made for her, because clothes just aren't. It's not the world that we live in, unfortunately. And then she's put on a reality show and she really vibes with this. It's like a dating show and she really vibes with the lead guy, the bachelor guy and stuff. But that's literally all I know. So, but yeah, plus size rep, and I'm sure that they are super cute as well. Question number 9 is, do you have a book with a main character who wears glasses? Yes, I do. So this is, I can even show, well, maybe I can show you. I can't show you in this copy. I can show you in another copy. Unless they didn't draw her with the glasses on, but I feel like they should have. They did. So this is Winnie Wednesday, and she has, as you can see, glasses. I remember this one because she's running around at night and she's having issues sometimes with the glasses fogging up. And I just remember thinking that's never an issue for me, so that must be really super annoying. That's why I just remembered, because I read it. This is The Luminaries by Susan Dennard, and it's young adult fantasy, the first in a trilogy. We follow Winnie Wednesday, who lives in a community where they live near a forest, which at night is filled with nightmares, so that's like creatures, dangerous creatures, and the teens of this community have to clear the forest of bodies, but then you also got some of the teens, but also adults who are hunters who go out to kill the creatures and keep everyone else safe. So Winnie's family has been exiled because, sort of exiled, because her dad was involved in something that's hard to get into, and so to save her family from this being exiled, just to make them seem a little bit more welcome in this community, she decides to take on the hunter trials and become a hunter. And during the first trial, it doesn't really go as planned, so she decides to ask for help from one of her old friends called Jay, because he's like an upcoming star hunter or something. And so the two of them, it's about the two of them kind of training for the trials, and also some secrets that stuff is going on in this community. It's very strange, like things are turning up and what happened with her father and so on and so on. So super cool, very short as well, very cute story too, but also a little bit horror. Just want to say it's not that cute. Question number 10 is, do you have a book with a title that has the same, oh no, that has the same number of letters as your first name? 4. I don't even have that book, otherwise I would have picked it up. 4. Oh no, okay, well, maybe? I got Guild, which I'm actually really happy that it's this one, because I kind of enjoyed this one. I didn't give it a very high rating, but that's because it's objectively speaking not a very good book. Like, just saying. But I enjoyed it anyway, you know? It's just one of those books. So this is adult fantasy, technically romance, but the first one, not really that much romance in it, just want to say. There's not any, to be honest. But in this, it's a King Midas retelling, so we follow Orin, who is gold touched, which means that all of her is like gold. So her skin, her hair, everything's gold. And King Midas loves her because she is so golden. And so she has been kept safe in a castle inside, no, in a cage inside his castle, until one day he decides to trade her off in a trade with this other king of another kingdom. So in exchange for one night with Orin, which she didn't say yes to, by the way, he gets to use his army for something. And so Orin, who thought that King Midas was the love of her life and the guy who's supposed to keep her safe and all of that, is like, why would he do that? Like, why? So it's about her kind of slowly coming to terms with King Midas not really being who she thought he was. And also they have to travel to another kingdom as well, which means that Orin is finally let out of her cage as well. So that one was I was getting very nervous. Very nervous. Because I was like, Cress is 5 letters, Scythe is 6, Gemini is 6. Oh, I could have chosen Fire by Kristen Kishore. That would have worked too. But a lot of my books are like Rebel 5, and I was just like, oh no. I'm never gonna find one. So question number 11 is, do you have a book with cybercrime technology? I have just read this one. This is Illuminate by Jay Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. It's not cybercrime, but there's a lot of technology in this. Our lead girl is like super technological. I don't know. She's into that computer stuff, you know? Yep. She's very good at that. So this is young adult sci-fi. We follow Katie Grant and her ex-boyfriend Ezra Mason, who live on this like settlement somewhere that is suddenly attacked, and they have to run. But like, where do you run? You're in space. So they manage to get to this spaceship that takes off, and when they're on the spaceship, there's an AI that is controlling one of the spaceships that they're with. that has gone rogue. Like, weird stuff is happening. At the same time, there's also a virus breaking out in one of the spaceships, and Katie and Ezra kind of just, they're also being chased by this other enemy spaceship, by the way, from another organization. A whole lot of stuff going on, and Katie and Ezra have to put a stop to everything and save the people, as teenagers often have to do in these books. But it was so good, by the way. And Katie's very good at computer stuff. Technological. Yes. This one is so easy for me. I just have to go to my other bookcase first. But it says, do you have a book written in another language or translated to English? I'm Danish, so that's a yes. Give me a moment. So I may have gone a little bit overboard, but I picked up 3. Because I thought this prompt would be a little bit funny if you're either Danish or you're just curious about it. So I don't really know what this is about. It's called I'm falling. It's called Blackhead by Cecil Jo. How do you pronounce her name? Cecil Jo Gassan, maybe? Or Cecil Jo Gassan. Anyway, what I know about this, because my sister gave it for me for my birthday at some point, is that we follow a girl named Rosa who lives in the city that I live in the 80s. But I don't really know much about, like, other than that. Hippies and graffiti artists and BS. I can't translate that. Yeah. And she has to find out who her biological father is. So I do have this one, but then maybe more funny, or one that maybe you will find a little bit more interesting. There's a movie made out of this. It's the first one it's by Jussi Olsen, or Jussi Olsen. I don't know how to pronounce Danish names either. What's going on with that? Embarrassing. Kvinnebol Afdeling Q. It's a crime novel. I know that this has been translated to English as well, which is why I picked it up. There's movies as well in Denmark. I've not read it. Only my friend has borrowed mine and read them. But just crime novels and stuff. But apparently they're really good, so like, look them up if you're interested. Why is mine? I'm gonna put it away. And then maybe the one that I thought you could recognize the most is, these are collected fairy tales and stories by H.C. Andersen. So they have like a ton of his stories, all written in Danish. And they've been translated before to English, a lot of them. I don't know what they're called in English though, but The Little Mermaid is in this. So, question number 13. Do you have a book written by an Asian author? So, do we mean... I mean, yeah, I do. I read Death Note by Tsugumi Oba, which is a manga. This is volume 1. I read it very recently. I feel like I could have gone with so many different books, but manga is always a safe choice for questions like this. Or like it's a quick choice, you know what I mean? So, but in this book we follow a young student. It's young adult horror, I want to say. Horror, mystery, thriller-ish, with a little bit of fantasy in there. So we follow a grade A student. He's like the best student in his region or something like that. And he comes across one day a death note. So it's like a notebook. He thinks it's a notebook at first, but then he opens it and it says death note. And so he learns and finds out that by using the death note, writing in it, he can actually kill people. So if he writes their names while he's remembering their face and then writes the cause of death and the time, the person will die. And so it's about people trying to stop him because he's killing criminals, basically executing them. And it's not up to him whether or not they should be killed. And so the police is trying to stop him. They get help from an outsider who's trying to help them stop him. And he's just like killing everyone to avoid being caught. So it's about him like essentially developing a god complex. So very interesting read though. Question number 14 is, do you have a book with a moon on the cover? Probably. Maybe. I'm gonna have a look. This is Wicked Fox by Kat Cho, which I don't fully know I can't remember what it's about other than we follow our girl right here who is a gumiho. So she is a nine-tailed fox. And they're basically like, they take male spirits and eat them. Yes. I think she's busted by someone but then decides not to eat him and it's a whole thing. But it's young adult fantasy. Heard that it's lovely, just haven't gotten to reading it yet, but thank you to my sister for giving it to me for my birthday last year, so I'll get to it eventually. Number 15 is, do you have an illustrated children's book? I don't. Not in my house. No, nah. Sorry. Number 16 is, do you have a collection of fairy tales or myths? Oh! I would like to, just because I brought several for that prompt, I have my H.C. Andersen collection. Definitely a collection of fairy tales, but I also have another one. I have an Alice in Wonderland collection of different books and fairy tales in my bedroom, but this is closer, so I'm just gonna go with this one. Question number 17 is, do you have a sci-fi fantasy with an alliance between races? Technically, I could go with any Shadowhunter book. I'm gonna see if I can come up with another one. So I want to say Aurora Cycle by J. Kristoff and Amy Kaufman. It literally says, the text underneath this says, so I feel like many of the Shadowhunters books could work for this prompt. Yeah, it's a boring choice. So in this one, the humans have made an alliance with several different kinds of aliens, so I'd say that counts, but we follow a squad of people and a mysterious girl who has been asleep for 1,000 years or something. I can't remember how long, but it's a long time. And as they're chosen, they're all misfits a little bit. Like, nobody really wanted them on their squad, but as they're chosen, they get grouped up together and stuff starts to happen in the world. There's a virus stuff, like a plague thingy, and they take it upon themselves to save the rest of the universe. So book number 18 is, do you have a book with a narrow front cover? A paperback with a front cover that is slightly trimmed? Yes, I do. So one of these, the Shadowhunter paperbacks, the newer ones also work, I know, but this has like, you see it has like a gap here. Yep. So that's what they mean, I think. This is the Lunar Chronicles or Cinder, to be more specific, by Marissa Mayer. These are just in the newer editions. I like these a lot, by the way. But they are 4 different books plus 2 extra shorter books. I think one of them is a collection of short stories, and the 4 of them at least are fairy tale retellings. So the first one is of Cinderella, as you can probably tell from the name. We follow our girl Cinder, who is a cyborg, and she's like one of the greatest mechanics in this town, that city she lives in. But being a cyborg means that she also doesn't have a lot of rights. She has to be owned by a human, for example. Then one day the crown prince approaches her shop because he needs help repairing one of his androids that has some information on it. And as she is repairing this android, she finds out that there's something going on in the universe. There's a threat. Someone's coming to her planet, which I believe is actually Earth. And this is like a great enemy, and a lot of stuff happens and questions and, you know, a big threat, a big enemy. And she has to work with the prince as well. And there might be a little bit of a romance too. So next one is question 19. Do you have a book that includes the first chapter of the sequel? Oh, it does! Yeah, I thought Guild. I thought Guild did. So Glint, because Guild also does, actually. So I just wanted to make sure that, whoa, my taps, that this one also does, but same story as Guild, just has a chapter for Gleam at the end of the book, which you can see right here. So yeah. Question number 20 is, do you have a book with a broken spine? Like broken or just wrinkled? Because I'm very careful with my books, like very careful. Actually, I have a hardback that fell apart. Does that count? Or do we just go with a paperback? So to overcompensate, because I'm pretty sure that none of them actually have like a proper broken spine, I have very wrinkled Throne of Glass and Shadow and Bone, as you can see, very wrinkled. But these days I am very careful with my paperbacks, so I don't wrinkle them. But however, this is only a monster that I literally managed to break when I read it. So like it actually fell apart and I've like glued it back together. I don't know where it happened. I can't remember exactly where it happened, but it definitely fell apart when I was reading all of a sudden. So I have literally glued it back together. I think it's glued back together. No, not there. It might be here. I don't know. Somewhere. I glued it back together. I feel like that counts. Like a broken hardback. It's not a broken spine, but it's like it fell off. It just fell off, so I don't know anyway. And then there's a bonus question. Do you have a book that covers 3 or more of the prompts, the above prompts? Okay. I have returned after, I don't know how long that took. A very long time. An embarrassingly long time. This looks kind of orange on camera, I'm not gonna lie, but I will say it's red. It is written by Sharon J. Xiao, who, as far as I know, was actually born in China. I will Google quickly. Chinese-born Canadian author. And it both comes with a book plate, but is actually also signed. And I will say there's a question of technology in this, but it's a little bit difficult to explain because it's a little bit more than just technology. So to me, that counts for at least 3 of the prompts. So I will say it does look very, but like it's an orangey red, but I would say it's still red. Especially if you see it in person. I don't know, you might not agree with me, but it's my video, I get to choose. Okay. But at least it kind of counts for the other ones. There's like definitely a lot of technology in this with the suits that they use. So I would say it counts for 3 of the prompts anyway. So anyway, that was 2 anyways. That was 1 too many. So I would say I did okay. Did I miss one of them? All right, the children's books. Yeah, I don't have one of those. Not even my own old ones. Like, I don't have them. So unfortunately, missed another one this time. But I got the bonus. So I feel like 20 out of 21. Pretty good. If you want to check out the books, they will be linked in the description box down below, because I know that I missed telling you the synopses for some of them, but you can find them in the description. Not the Danish ones, but the other ones, most definitely. But that is all I got for you guys today, so I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this from me, definitely let me know. But also, if you're new here, I do wrap-ups and TBR videos and readathons and blogs and all the other booktube stuff. So if that's of any interest, definitely consider sticking around by clicking on the subscribe button. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to hit the thumbs up. But that's all I got for you guys today. So I hope you enjoyed it, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye. Oh, you know you're beautiful.